a must-see 19th hole experience where you can actually go out to the tournament and then you can come in here and it's free if you have a ticket that you can purchase at phoenixopen.com, which I think is so affordable. It gets you in here to Draftkings Sportsbook. It also gets you general admission to the actual Phoenix Open and a light buffet included, and you just pay for your drinks, and they even have some drink deals out here too. So it's a smoking deal, $175 Wednesday and Thursday, and then $225 Friday and Saturday. But what's really fun is the sportsbook. And joining us now is Johnny Avello, joins us, who is the Director of Sports Operations for DraftKings, and he's with us here today. And thanks for having us, by the way. And this is like your man cave, right?
Oh yeah, this is so cool. You're so right when you talk about the sportsbook. But what you guys have down here in the Scottsdale area, and what I have up in the Las Vegas area, is some decent weather at various times of the year. So if you want to go outside and enjoy a sportsbook atmosphere, you have that too, which is very rare to see. Vegas Sportsbook, there's one place that has it, and they copied this place here. So that's kind of a new trend that's kind of happening. I look to see more doing that.
So you're talking more, Johnny, the outside, being able to sit outside. You got the big TVs out there, and you got the service and the bars and all that. So they really don't have that in Vegas. It's just they're all in casino. They're all in hotels, right?
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah.
Wow.
Most places didn't. Well, remember this: that a sports book is just an amenity to the casino.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of amenities to the casino.
Very much so.
Whereas this is its own building. This is its own unique, structure. So it's different. You don't see this. This doesn't happen in Las Vegas. An individual sports book. A sports book is attached. It's just part of what a casino is.
I think the experience of sports bar / sports book is what this is all about. I mean, people come here. They, like as Roc said, you can eat and watch games all over. I mean, the magnitude of TVs right here, but that's the feel I like. It's like a sports bar where the sports book broke out.
You don't even have to gamble if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You just come in and have a drink and something to eat. So you're entirely correct.
It's interesting because we've been fortunate enough. We were here for the national championship. We've been here for other events, a Monday Night Football event, and one of our listeners and one of our regulars, Charles Barkley, was in here, and he used to go to another place that we used to go to, and he said, "Nope." He goes, "I go to DraftKings," and we were coming here one day, and it was 11 o'clock. You guys are open. He was the first one in line. And we go, "Charles, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Hey, it's customer service here. I think he likes to put bets down. He doesn't use an app. Like I use the DraftKings app, and I'm very much on it like every day. But I think there are still a lot of people that like to put a bet in, and then they want to cash their bet.
Yes.
And I think that's what's really cool, and that's what I think is really kind of set you guys apart.
They want to touch. They want to touch the
ticket.
They want to touch the ticket. They want to touch the money.
They want to touch the money. All right. So WM Open. You've been there. You've been with DraftKings a long time. Was there, when they first came to you and they wanted to pick your brain on, let's kind of marry up with the PGA Tour? How did that all come to fruition? Because when I remember this, when all the licenses came out for gambling, and when I heard TPC Scottsdale got one, I was like, wow, that is so out there. Where did this idea come to kind of marry the two, golf and a sports book?
Well, we had a partner with somebody here in Arizona, and when we went down the list, this looked like that could be a great partnership. First of all, golf is really big with our company, golf wagering.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing is exploding and it continues to grow every year. And when we looked at the spot where this could be positioned on the course with this event that goes on this
small event, right?
It was a no-brainer.
People on a Monday, it's crazy. So talk about wagering in golf, because I know a lot of people, it's typical football, basketball. That's really, really what they do. Are there some, recommendations you have for if you want to get your feet wet? I always, we have a buddy here. He's in here. He's former caddy, and he's telling me, he goes, I like to bet golfers to finish in the top 10, because that way you have a little bit more of a chance to kind of maybe win your money back. But are there better odds in certain ways to do the props with golf? Because I'm not really big into betting golf. I never really have, and I stick to the basketball and the football.
Golf, there's a lot of different ways to bet golf. First of all, you can win. Who's going to win it outright?
Sure.
That's the most difficult, because especially on the tour today. There are so many good players out there.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be a favorite. And at times during some golf campaign, whether it's a 2-3 year campaign, there's going to be one golfer who dominates. And that's happened. Tiger Woods has been a dominator. I mean, we were putting up odds at 7-5 at the beginning of a tournament.
Wow.
7-5 to win a whole tournament. I mean, think about it. That's crazy. And now Scotty Scheffler plus 280, not even 3-1 to win this tournament. Now, I grant you that some of the big guns aren't here, and that's why his odds are a little short. So now you got to fish down a little bit and see if there's anybody in that is like Sam Burns. Is there somebody out there who's 30-1, who I can at least have a shot at, but you still got to get by Scotty Scheffler, right? So where do I look for other types of wagers? I think matchups are great, where it's a golfer against another golfer.
Okay.
Who's going to finish better, or a group of golfers. There's 4 or 5 guys. Can I pick who's going to finish the best out of this group of 5? So I think there's other ways to bet it, little props that you might find that are interesting. And in-game wagering, in golf wagering, to me, that's the most fun. I personally, when I wager, I wager that way. I can't wager with our company, but living in Las Vegas, I do have some opportunities to play. I really like in-game wagering, and in this particular sport, in golf wagering. So the tournament is always up, at least with us. Not everybody does it the way we do it, but the way we do it is the tournament's always up, so you can always find a golfer's price to win the whole thing. Plus, you can find bets where the next hole, will he birdie it? Will he bogey it? Will he par the hole? Those type of bets. So
those are more in the in-tournament bets.
I'm just very interested how they set the handicapping. Do they look at the past performances? Who's hot? How they do against that course? I mean, there's a whole minutia of handicapping a golfer coming into a tournament. I mean, top 25, I get all that, or top 50.
Or how they finished at Pebble, which was this last tournament
exactly.
yesterday, right?
But, I mean, when you're breaking it down, are you looking at, well, he doesn't do very good in Phoenix, or he does, you know what I'm saying? How much is going in that blender before you handicap?
Well, you just asked 6 questions, and the answer to all those questions is yes, 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 yes.
All the above.
All of that, plus more. That's exactly what we have to look at. We look at, who does well here, who doesn't do well here, who's coming off a couple of bad rounds. Of course, we keep their price up. Sure. And we know we have some algorithms to help us out. At one point when I was making the odds, for the retail locations in Vegas, I didn't have all the tools that we have today. So, we have so many tools now and so much data that we can be pretty precise on the odds. That doesn't mean we win all the times. It means that we give really fair prices on what golfers.
What's that checklist, like 50, over under 50, the checklist to go through before you handicap?
That's
give or take?
Yeah, you just mentioned 6 in 5 seconds, and I said yes. And if I gave you more time, you could probably name another 20.
Johnny Avello joining us here from Draftkings, the director of sports operations. So 16 is the most popular hole in golf, or at least in this tournament. Are there prop bets for that tournament? So, for that hole, I mean?
Yes.
So I can say, okay, Sam Burns on Thursday is going to birdie. I can bet the birdie or par or double or whatever it may be.
Yes.
Okay.
When he gets to that hole. Now when
he gets to the hole.
Yeah.
So you can't bet it today?
Right. Not today, no.
So that's when you can only do in-game or in-tournament, correct?
In-tournament, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when would those odds go up? Is it right before the hole? Like in college basketball, it's typically we can't get odds until 24 hours before for the game. Is that kind of similar to golf in a way?
You'll be able to bet the hole when they're on the hole prior to that, because because we need some lead time. Not for us so much, because what we did 2 years ago, we brought a crew down here and we put the odds makers in that 16th hole at the tee. And so those guys were there with live odds. But the problem is that the consumer doesn't get it that quick. So we'll have to stay a hole ahead.
Interesting.
But that is it. My wife was asking me about this tournament down here, and she said, "Aren't people quiet when the golfers are heading? Don't the golfers require that you're quiet when they're hitting the ball?" I said, "Yeah, under most circumstances, but
not here,
and especially not on that hole."
It's a heck of a tournament. I think it's so cool that you guys are here. All right, so we turn our attention to there's a small game on Sunday. How much do you see a place like here, and then you have one at Wrigley where people are coming in to put their bets? Are you seeing it that day, the day before, or do you see a lot of people because it's the Super Bowl, they're coming out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to place their bets?
Well, if you take a place like this, when we open up the line, which is Sunday after the AFC game is over, people will come in and make their bets then. Sometimes they'll say, I want to see the line early, and I think that price is too high or too low or what have you. So we'll get a flurry on that day.
Okay.
And then probably the next couple of days, we still taking bets, but it's a little bit slower. Now, I'm talking about retail locations only.
Yeah.
On the app, it's constant.
Yeah,
it's just
sure.
we're in 29 states, so that just continues to flow every day. A lot of bets, although 90% of the action is going to come in that weekend, Saturday, Sunday. For here, people will come in. They'll say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be near a sports book. I don't have an account, but I want to make a bet on the game. I'm going to stop in and make it today. It's Wednesday, Thursday, so then I don't have to come back. So you'll get all kinds of different scenarios of why people want to make their bet at the time they're making it.
Let me ask you, Johnny, and you've been in this industry your entire life. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot and see how good your memory is. Do you remember a year, let's just say Super Bowl, or any game that you can recall where the line changed so much, like a 180? Because we talk about sometimes where the lines will adjust 2 or 3, but nothing like a touchdown or something like that. Is there anything that comes to mind that you recall that, we saw a huge change?
I think the 49, I've seen the spread move a couple of points. Very rarely it goes more than that. If we have a questionable quarterback, that's when we have to put the line up. We certainly can't hold back. So sometimes, if a game's up and a quarterback doesn't play, that could certainly shift it 3 or 4 points or more. Games I remember were the 49ers playing, I think it was the Chargers, and the line was 15.5 and it went to 18 or 19, something like that. I've seen, kind of run a little bit going that way. I've seen the favorite switch from 2.5 to maybe 1 the other side, but nothing under normal circumstances, nothing from 2.5 to 6. And the reason is because we've seen so many games play out the whole year. Our power ratings are about as strong as they can be. This game has not moved at all. So when you talk about which games didn't move, you may go back to 2005 Super Bowl and say that game opened 1.5 and it never moved off of that.
Okay.
And that would be rare because this one has not moved yet.
All right, last one. Manuch and I, we've been doing this 20 years, and we still have yet to meet a wise guy. Where do they live in Vegas? They in like some basement somewhere, these wise guys that make these lines? Are there really wise guys?
Now, yes. So, I call them sophisticated players.
Okay.
That's what they're called.
So is that being disrespectful saying wise guy?
No, that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Sophisticated players means that they do this for a living, and they don't always win. But their goal is to hold 53-54% for the year. So it's a very slim margin. Sometimes they'll come in to the sports book or bet on the app. The limit could be 10,000 on a game. They'll only bet 1,000 or 2,000. They don't always bet what the full limit is because they may not like that game as much as others. They're just very good money managers, and they're very good at knowing what the line should be, and they can get information. Sometimes they don't do it on their own. Sometimes they just know people that can give
they can swing a line, right? They can move a point.
Yeah. Well, here's what my stance is on when a sharp guy who I consider to be very sharp comes in and bets a pro football game for $5,000 and your limit's 100,000, you'll take 100,000 off anybody. If he comes in and bets that game, I'm moving that line. I'm moving that line from 2.5 to 3 or 1.5 to 2, just off of that $5,000 bet in him.
That's amazing.
But I've had guys come in and bet $1 million on a game and didn't move the line. So it's about respect of who's betting.
Love
it.
that.
That's what moves the line.
Good stuff. Johnny, thank you. This is good stuff.
Thank
we
you, Johnny.
appreciate it. We're going to tomorrow, I think you're going to join us tomorrow at some point, and I want to get into props when it comes to Super Bowl, too, and some of those crazy props, because I know there are some good ones. So we appreciate you, Johnny. Thank you. Johnny Avello joining us here, the Director of Sports Operations for DraftKings at TPC Scottsdale. Coming up next, we're going to get an update from the columnist for the Arizona Republic. Greg Moore will join us to talk about what's going on with Kevin Durant. That's next right here on ESPN 6.